For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise, and you surely feel naughty when you swallow our coffee. If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some more, rest assured. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough of.
It's time for The Scribble, your weekly fix of celebrity chats, bizarre stories in the news, and basic random chatter with best-selling author and syndicated radio host Jeremy Bradley. Make sure your seat is in the upright and locked position and your barf bag is securely in place. Here's Jeremy Bradley.
Thank you very much, Larson. Jeremy Bradley here. A virus-free Jeremy Bradley, I should point out. Don't worry, nothing I have ever produced has gone viral, so you're safe tuned in to the Scribble podcast today. Thanks for listening while you're in lockdown or wherever you might be. If you're stranded, if you're already sick of your family being at home every day, I thank you for spending the next 30 minutes with us. It's going to be a good time. All right, so I'm basically let's just talk this week, okay? And you might be doing a lot of drinking while you're at home during this time, especially if you're fed up with your family, right? You might need some booze to get through it. And I want to know if you are somebody who experiments with drinks, or you just kind of know that you like your rum and coke and that's what you have, or I'll tell you about experimenting with drinks coming up in just a little bit. And also, this is where the social distancing thing. I went to the store. No, I didn't get into a fist fight over, toilet paper and all that other stuff that everybody's hoarding. But the point isn't about the actual store experience. It's that I don't know that if I'm getting absent-minded or if I'm getting old. And maybe I just can't do two things at once. Remember back in the day, if you're old enough, there was that whole thing about walking and chewing gum or at the same time, right? Well, I'm 37, and I think I might be approaching that point where I can't multitask. So there's a story about that coming up. And just for the heck of it, because people are social distancing and away from work, or people have taken holidays, whatever it is, that's no excuse to not get stuff done. So I'm going to talk to one of our staffers. I'm going to call her at home, and I'll call her cell phone. I don't know where she should be at home, based on the advice from all the contradicting advice from all the medical experts. But I'm going to surprise a staffer and phone her and see if she plays ball. Because if they know that I'm doing the radio show or the podcast and they see that I'm calling during the production time, well, maybe they won't answer, maybe they will. We'll find out as the show unfolds. So we got lots to talk about in the next 30 minutes. It's all on the Scribble, and it starts right after this.
Who are the Kardashians feuding with now? What did that little thug Justin Bieber do this time? Who's getting hitched? And who's headed for Splitsville? Hear the latest celebrity news and gossip every day on Entertainment Wrap-Up. The good, the bad, the ugly, but mostly the ridiculously hilarious. It's all recapped in this daily segment at entertainmentwrapup.com. Have a laugh at the expense of the rich and famous when they take themselves way too seriously. It's 3 minutes of time-wasting fun at entertainmentwrapup.com. Check out Entertainment Wrap-Up at entertainmentwrapup.com. Brought to you by Speak Free Books.
Jeremy Bradley here, back on the Scribble. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. It's Friday for you as you're listening to this, but sometimes we pre-tape some segments the day before, maybe even the week before, maybe even the month before. And the reason that I'm telling you that right now is because if you're listening to this episode that is on Friday morning, I don't want you to think that at 9 a.m. I'm having a drink. But I'm having a cocktail right now because it is Thursday night, and we've just taped our entertainment headlines for Friday and the weekend, and then one of our syndicated music shows. So, if you hear the clinking, that is my metal straw in my cocktail. And the reason that I'm telling you this is we're going to talk drinking for a few minutes here, okay? How do you know what drinks you like and won't like? And I'm thinking back to my teenage years when I was out at the lake with my friends. The first thing that I had was vodka. And, I guess maybe I had beer when I was, like a year before I started to have the hard liquor. So vodka was kind of my thing. Now, we were drinking out at the lake. This certainly is not a story, by the way, about underage drinking or anything like that. We were drinking out at the lake, my friends and I. And the friend's parents were there. Now, I'm not defending that. It's still, illegal for minors to be drinking and whatever. But we were being supervised, and there were grown-ups there, so I'm justifying it that way. That's not the point of this story. The point of the story is, how do you know, is it that you just try a drink and then you like it? I remember one of my friends, she was really big into amaretto. I tried it, liked it, but I think at that age, because everything is kind of new to you, you'll like any kind of booze that you try for the most part, right? I didn't like beer, but I was drinking for the sake of drinking because I was drinking, right? But what about nowadays, though? When you're an adult, when you're grown up, have you ever just gone to the liquor store? And that's why I'm telling you this story. I went to the liquor store the other day, and I didn't know what I wanted. I like wine. I like vodka. I like whiskey. I might like a liqueur. If there's like a peach schnapps or a limoncello or, like a lemon liqueur. Well, it depends, right? And if it's summer, I might get something that I can blend into a slush. Like, it all depends on the mood. But have you ever gone to the liquor store and just said, yeah, that looks okay. Yeah, that sounds interesting. I know nothing about wine. I really don't. So I'm basing my decision on either what the label or what the bottle looks like, the name of it perhaps, maybe the country, but I don't know what I'm getting. I don't know what a rosé, a blush, a Sauvignon Blanc, whatever it's called. I'm illustrating my point here, everybody, that I don't know much about booze. That same thing I like about vodka, when it's triple distilled and all. I don't know what that means. But have you ever just randomly tried a new drink? Same thing, like when you go to a restaurant, I read the ingredients, and if I see that it's got, rum, orange juice, lemon, or something, those are all flavors that in my head, I kind of am like, I like that, I like that, I like that. Never had them together, so I'll try it. It's different though when you're in a restaurant and somebody else is mixing it, right? If I were to go to the liquor store, maybe I wanted to make a, like a strawberry or cranberry kind of a drink. Well, I've got to buy two different kinds of booze. So right now I've got to buy the bottles, and the drink is costing, $20, $30 for me to buy. And then if I've got to get actual orange or lemon juice or something like that, no different than when I made, I'm not a real big burger eater, but the very first time that I made burgers, I go to the store and I get a bag of buns, buy lettuce, buy bacon, buy cheese, buy barbecue sauce, buy pickles, bought potatoes to make fries. And again, $20, $40 later, and I laughed because as I was leaving, there's a Burger King in the parking lot. And I said, I could have just went and bought a burger here for $3 and had all of this. But there's something about making it at home. I really don't like making drinks like that at home because for me, they just don't taste the same. I don't know. It's very different. Same thing, I could make, I don't bake, but if I made my mom's sugar cookie recipe, it's still not the same way that she makes it. There's just, I don't know. It's the same thing with making pizza. I make pizza at home all the time, but there's nothing like ordering a pizza from a restaurant. It's just different. Or even those frozen ones that you throw in the oven for 20 minutes. Still not the same, right? And so when I try new drinks, I'll have it at a restaurant. Maybe I'll have them again the next time I go there. I don't remember. But have you ever just gone to the liquor store and said, yeah, that sounds interesting, I'll try that? Or when you're going there, do you already know what you're getting? Is it already mapped out? I'm there to get beer. I'm there to get my favorite brand of whiskey, and I'm out of there. I tend to spend, and I think that they kind of look at me, but I tend to spend a bit of time going up and down the aisles. And they'll ask me over and over again if I need help or if I'm finding what I need. And it's like, I'm waiting for inspiration. I'm waiting for something to scream out at me. I treat it like a grocery aisle. Am I here for wine? I don't know. Am I here for vodka? I don't know. Am I here for those cheap little fizzy cooler kind of things? Don't know. Maybe I'll get one of those on the way out. I haven't really decided. But how do you decide what do you want to try? Do you go and I've done this before too. It's okay, I'm feeling like strawberry. So I'm going to go there, see if they've got, maybe it's strawberry vodka, maybe it's a strawberry liqueur, maybe it's a strawberry wine. I don't know. How do you shop for liquor, everybody? Send me an email, live@jbonair.com, live@jbonair.com.
Isn't it crazy that you wait for payday, but before you know it, you're strapped for cash again? It's time to stop blowing your money and become a smart spender with the book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com. Learn simple ways to cut costs at home every day and during special times of the year. Don't go broke at Christmas. Don't remortgage the house for a fancy vacation. The book is filled with tips to save you money throughout the year. Check out the best-selling book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com or on Amazon and iTunes.
Ever had something to get off your chest but never had the balls to say it? That's a load of crap. Speak Free with JB.com is exactly what you've been waiting for. Your chance to tell it like it is and not care what anybody else thinks. Have your say on issues of the day. Join newspaper and radio columnist Jeremy Bradley as he tells it like it is. Hundreds of thousands of people have stopped by, including some well-known celebrities who have had a chat with JB and speak candidly about what's really going on in the world. You can join them too. Have a rant or a rave. Be brave and head on over to www.speakfreewithjb.com now.
Jeremy Bradley here, back on the Scribble. I don't know that I'm absent-minded. I don't know if I'm old. I'm not sure exactly what the problem is. So here's the deal. And I do recall, okay, this isn't about memory lapse, because I do remember telling this story on the podcast. I don't remember how long ago it was, but I do remember telling you guys that when I'm on the phone, and I know that people don't necessarily make a lot of phone calls nowadays, but I'm a talker, as you can tell, and so I prefer to speak to somebody. I have no interest in doing 7,000 text messages back and forth. I prefer to talk to you. And so one of my friends I don't talk to very often, but when we do have a conversation, it's like no time has passed, but I also know that it's going to be at least a good 3 hours or so, okay? So... previously, again, when I was younger, I used to curl up on the couch, or when I was younger and at my parents' house, I'd be laying in bed and just kind of laying on one side, rolling over, continue talking. At one point, I even bought a headset just for my cordless phone to keep talking at home. And now I prefer to just get up, walk around the house, or I also like talking on the phone when I'm out walking the dogs, because sometimes I like having music, but I don't know, I just feel like I tune out the music because my brain is already going a mile a minute with other things anyway, so I'm not actually listening. So the other day, I was on the phone with my friend Darcy. He lives in BC. I've known him. He's one of the people that reason I bought the headset. We would talk so long. So he's a 2-hour time difference than where I am. And so I sometimes can be a night owl, and so when he's calling it a night on the Pacific time zone, West Coast, I would either still be up or I might be doing some work at home, whatever it is. So I've got time to talk. And then on the flip side of that, when it's his lunchtime or whatever, it's a good time for me to talk. So the other day, he called me, and I was like, you know what? That's good motivation for me to go to the store. I needed to get some things, not any urgent supplies or groceries or anything like that, but I just thought, okay, you know what? That's a good reason now. Because again, I like walking to the store. It's like 15 minutes. It's not that, it's not that far. It's some exercise. And I am talking to him as I go there. And for some reason, I get into autopilot mode, where I know exactly where I'm going. I know exactly what I'm doing. I went to the store. I got the things that I need, but then I got other things. But here's the deal. It's almost like a momentary blackout, because I'm sitting there going, I don't remember putting this in my basket when I was walking through the store. Why did I get this? Something in my head, right? Think about this. You had to go down that aisle. You had to look at the product. Something in your head said, put this in the basket or put this back on the shelf, right? I don't remember doing that. I almost want to compare it to when you're drunk and you don't really remember doing things. Well, I have these little pockets of memories that I don't really quite understand why I did it or how it happened. Now, the good thing is, this is where I look on the bright side, is that I didn't steal anything, right? It's one thing that you could, again, and I'm not making a joke, you could theoretically go in there, walk around, put stuff in, and then just walk right out without even realizing it. I'm sure the store wouldn't see it that way, but that's what I'm saying is, if I went and bought frozen waffles, and that's never anything that I've ever purchased in my life ever, why suddenly now would I go and get it, right? And then I kind of think back to the and that happened the other time, but this time I start to go and think, like, were we talking about waffles? Like, what was the connection there? How did that come to be? How did that get into my basket and then in turn into my shopping bag and then into my freezer cupboard or whatever it was that I bought? I don't know. And so I'm having this conversation with Darcy. I went to the store, and next door was the liquor store, speaking of alcohol, and I remember saying to him that I got some cheese at the store and I was going to get wine next door. So I do remember that, and I did get cheese, yes. But then I went to the store, and here's the crazy thing. I was in there, and I don't know exactly how long, but I'll just guess it was at least 10 minutes. Could be 15 or something like that. I was in there for at least 10 minutes, and he heard the guy at the counter, the cashier, he heard the guy say to me, "Oh, well, have fun with your concoctions." And so I recalled Darcy laughing about that, because when you just hear that, you're kind of like, why would the guy say that? That's really weird. Like, what are you doing? And then I said to him as I was leaving, I bought rum and limoncello, like liqueur, right? Like the mix, like you would just put on ice or whatever it is, like not beer, not whatever. And so Darcy starts laughing because he's like, you went there to get wine, but you spent $70-some and you didn't get wine. And I said, yes, that's right, I didn't. And then I walked back home, and then I put the groceries and everything away. The dogs are very excited, and so then we ended up going out for a stroll, and that was another about 45 minutes or so. And again, so then I come back home, and they're settled down, they've had their water, they're settled down. I'm kind of tired because I was just walking all the way to the store and back, and then I went for another lap around when I came home to get the pooches. And again, I go and sort of reconcile in my head and think, I don't remember walking down half of the streets that we did. So again, this kind of has me wondering, am I in danger of being out to lunch where, like, was I crossing the streets safely? Was I, in danger at all? Was I, right? Like, it kind of has me freaking out when I sit there and go, I don't really recall what I did or when I did that. And so I think that's a feeling you get when you have too much to drink, right? Sometimes when you wake up after you've passed out for a little bit and you're like, how did I get home? Or why am I on the floor in the bathroom? Why am I, right? Like, and so you kind of wonder, am I being irresponsible? Was this dangerous for me to do? Again, well, I was going to say no alcohol was involved. There was. I wasn't consuming it. I was buying it. But it's a little bit weird. So I just want to know then, has this ever happened to you? Have you done something without even realizing it? And again, not under the direction or under the influence, that's the word I was looking for, not under the influence of alcohol or a substance. Send me an email, live@jbonair.com, live@jbonair.com. I just chalk it up to being really into the conversation that I was having. But again, I'm still managing to go through the motions of all this, of everything that's going on around me. So, I don't know. Should I be concerned? Would you be concerned? Send me an email, live@jbonair.com.
It's never too early to start thinking about your next holiday. Have you checked out Mexico recently? From tequila tasting, swimming with horses, to ziplining through the jungle and watching whales and dolphins in their natural habitat, Puerto Vallarta has it all. Visit mexico.jbonair.com to see all the fun PV has to offer. That's at mexico.jbonair.com for hundreds of photos, interviews, and videos from around the tourist hotspot. Check out mexico.jbonair.com for all the fun. That's mexico.jbonair.com.
Jeremy Bradley here, back on the Scribble. One of the things that we loved doing on our syndicated radio show, one of the things I loved No, we all loved it, except for Bonnie Winters, our producer. But one of the things that we would do on the syndicated radio shows was call our producer Bonnie Winters. Now, I would do this when she either had a day off or was sick, or maybe she was even on vacation. I recall phoning her one time in Hawaii. She had no idea that I had tracked her down. I did. I called the hotel front desk and I found her, but and I would always just put her on the spot. Oftentimes it was something just so ridiculous, and she was a good sport about it because she never wanted to seem like she was out of the loop. So let's say that Katy Perry is pregnant, and Bonnie wouldn't have known that, but when I called her and would put her on the spot, she would play along as if she knew, and then I would start to ask her questions to try to pull up more information, which just made it even more awkward because we both knew that she didn't know the answers to it. And so Bonnie has since retired, and we wish her the best. Her and her husband Mike are traveling the world, hopefully coronavirus free, and we've done it a couple times now with one of our staffers, Suzanne, and put her on the spot. She was a great sport about it, and I figured we've got some time on the show today, so why not do it? She's not in today, but I figured, let's give Suzanne a call and see if she'll play along, because why not? It's fun as hell. So I'm going to dial her right now from my cell phone, so she actually is going to know that it's me calling, and so it won't be that much of a surprise if she does answer, but hopefully we'll get her, and we'll put her on the spot and have some fun. I love the awkwardness of this whole segment, by the way.
Hello.
Suzanne, I'm just returning your call.
Oh, hi.
What did you need? We're on the air.
When did I call you? Like days ago?
No, there was like 4 calls. I thought there was something like urgent or oh my God, is it the coronavirus? Is that why you weren't in the office today? Oh my God, we probably shouldn't even be talking.
No, careful. You have your mask on.
Well, I do, because the people that we work with, right? You can never take your chances. Well, let's talk about this because you're off today, and since Bonnie has retired, I figured let's talk to our next eldest statesman. But is this whole coronavirus thing freaking you out?
Not at all. Not at all. I don't think it's any different than the regular flu. Although I had this conversation with somebody yesterday about, I made the comment that, the regular flu, people die from it every single year. We just don't hear about it. And then somebody pointed out to me that the rate of fatalities with the regular flu is like 0.2 or 0.4%, whereas with the coronavirus it's like 2.4% or something like that. So it is significantly higher, but really I don't think there's anything to panic about.
Generally, you're neurotic with your hand sanitizer and different cleanliness routines. Have you upped your game? Have you changed anything that you do since this scandal has broken?
No, I'm pretty neurotic about that anyway, so I just make sure that my purse is well stocked and my desk is well stocked. You know how it is. I have like a full bottle of hand sanitizer on my desk. And
we're going to have to check the tape. I'm not sure if you owe me $1 from that, but we'll play back and see if you do owe $1 into our jar for that. But
please do.
So you're not having any sort of risky behavior. You're not going to places where it could be considered unsanitary, like say a casino or something where people aren't necessarily always washing their hands.
Well, I have been to places like that, and I'm very mindful of making sure I'm using the hand sanitizer regularly, washing my hands. But I'm not afraid to be out somewhere like that.
What about travel? Are you changing any of your travel plans?
Well, I don't really have any, so I would say that's a hard no. But no, I have no plans to travel in the next little while. So same old, same old.
I don't even know that we've ever talked about it. Do you like to travel? When was the last trip that you took?
Oh, well, I was away for a few days in February. So.
Oh, is that where you got the coronavirus then, or how, or?
No, surprisingly,
it's those discount airlines. Yeah.
Huh?
Those discount airlines. That's where you get it. You get the discount airlines. You get the hepatitis, I think, is what you get.
Oh, it could be, I suppose. But surprisingly, often when traveling, because you're on a plane, you're breathing recycled air or whatever. I was actually very surprised at this last trip that I didn't even come back with the sniffles or anything, especially given the time of year and everything that's going around. Remarkably, being on a 4-hour flight and not even coming home with the sniffles, but I was pretty surprised.
I was thrown up on during that flight. Does that make me now? No, I totally just thought of this as yours. We should explain to everybody that she tagged along on a trip that I was wanting to get away from everybody, but she insisted.
Yes, including me, but I kind of changed your plan.
Yeah.
And
this is where we actually do get serious now, is because I actually was thrown up on during that flight. The person beside me got sick during the plane. She's already laughing, bitch. But I wonder, is that a way, if you sit in somebody's vomit, as I had to, shout out to Swoop Airlines, is that, can we name them? I got to check with the lawyers. Yes, we can, because they have commented on that. Yeah, but I wonder if that's something that would be concerning, is if somebody is sick, do their bodily fluids contain it, right? Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, is that something that would be...
For sure. I mean, and it depends, like, I guess the reason behind the person getting sick, as far as I understand what happened with you, that this person, it was more the motion and the turbulence, perhaps, not necessarily as a result of a virus. But, of course, and I think, for me, that's the one thing I haven't really been paying attention to with the coronavirus. Have they disclosed if it's an airborne illness or if it's more you have to get it by touching something or someone,
but this
that has it.
And so this is what I'm saying, is that we hear about the flu being contracted when you sneeze. Well, that is liquid, fluid, whatever coming out of your body. Vomit is coming from within your body as well. I mean, let's be honest now. So I'm wondering if that's concerning. Now, we should be clear that I am not of the risky age groups that they say, right? The children or the older people or compromised immune systems. So, I'm not concerned about it. I wrote my newspaper column about that, saying that I'm not giving into the hysteria, but I just wonder if there's something like that. And they're flashing up on the screen here. Let me just say, Swoop sincerely apologizes for the uncomfortable situation you encountered on your flight. It was truly an unfortunate event, and our flight attendants worked as quickly as they could following procedures to contain the biohazard. We appreciate you bringing this to our attention. We consider all feedback as we continually make improvements to our procedures. Anytime I bash Swoop, apparently I've got to give that disclaimer that we have given them the opportunity to comment on that unfortunate situation. So now, Suzanne, let me tell you then, you've done such a great job here. I have something for you, okay? And I need you to sit down. I need you to sit down right now.
Okay.
We have a special gift. I was going to wait until, we see each other or whatever, but I figured we got you on the phone, so I'll just tell you now. We are sending you to China, and I know that you have always wanted to go there. And it's, for some reason, we could only get a one-way ticket. I don't know why that's not a return. But what we'll do, though, is the one-way flight, but here's the deal. I really need you to sit down, because I know you're not sitting down. I can already tell.
No, I just sat down, actually. As soon as you said China, I sat down.
Okay. So we've got the flight on the way there. What we're doing is to bring you back on a cruise ship. And so we're doing a cruise ship return. So I need you to pack your belongings, and that's like your life insurance and all the other stuff, and get ready, because you're leaving in about 2 hours. So I just,
Perfect.
Yeah, so you'll have to...
I always wanted.
Because I figured, she's not going to come into work tomorrow anyway. I know that she's already going to play hooky. So we'll do you a solid. I will have you picked up, and we'll just take you right to the to the airport, and we'll get you off and running, okay?
You are so good to me. I just, words can't even begin to express.
And so let's just make it even sweeter then, because that was so precious that you just said that. I'm going to give you a travel voucher for Swoop Airlines anywhere you want to go, okay?
Perfect. That's good. Does that include the vomit, or is that...
well, it is a no-frills airline, so you might...
there you go.
You might have to do extra for that one. All right, well, you know what? It was fun chatting with you. We filled that 10 minutes that we needed, and I will talk to you again soon. Thanks, Suzanne.
All right, thanks. Always a pleasure.
We hear you chirping. Get scribbling. Tweet up the Scribble at The Scribble Show. Join the discussion with Jeremy Bradley. It's all going down right now on Twitter at The Scribble Show and at thescribbleshow.com.
JB here, back on the Scribble. We're out of time, but feel free to give me a shout anytime. It's always awesome hearing from you. That email address, again, is live at jbonair.com. Live at jbonair.com. I can't even give you coronavirus tips or advice because, it seems to be changing. And so by the time you listen to this, I might be giving you outdated information, and I don't want to do that. But happy March 20th, if that's when you're tuned in. And stay safe out there, everybody. I guess that's kind of what people are saying, is stay safe. Follow the instructions from the experts. I would say follow the instructions from the medical and the scientific experts, not the politicians. That's just me. You live how you want. I've got to put that disclaimer on it. You're free to do whatever you wish. But I will be back next Friday right here on The Scribble. And thanks for tuning in and subscribing. My name is Jeremy Bradley. Talk to you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.
Want more Scribble? Check out thescribbleshow.com for past shows, celebrity interviews, cheapskate tips, and more. That's at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter at The Scribble Show. The Scribble is a speak-free media presentation.
If you want some real heat